Our boss has just asked us to go through the sales and fulfillments tables and come up with a list of all the pending orders, sorted by company and grouped by company. Oh boy. Our sales documents and our fulfillment documents are quite large, and we'll want this in readable fashion. So let's do some data shaping or some mapping work. And to do this, we will abuse the mapping function. So working with the sales table, the first thing I want to do is I want to pull out some information about the customer and the sale. I can use pluck for this, and I can pluck out the ID, and I can pluck out the email, but this gives me the customer's ID. I actually want the order ID, so I'll have to do something a bit more intelligent. So I'll use map for this, and what I'll do is I'll return sale_ID, so it's nice and clear, and I'll specify r.row and then ID. For email, I will pull the embedded object email out and put it right up next to the sale ID. So I'm basically shaping this data to look exactly as I want it to be. So if I run this, there it is. I have company, email, and sale ID. And I can use this for further querying by just chaining some more functions on. But before I do that, let's talk about this r.row thing. r.row is an alias for the current document. And as you see down below here, I can ask for ID, customer, email, and so on. This is just how I'm using the map function. I'm not using a callback. I'm just specifying the way I want to see the data using r.row. But I don't need to do it this way. I can also use a callback. Sometimes callbacks are a little bit more clear. So for instance, here I'm just asking for the sale ID and the sale customer email. So basically, I'm using sale as a variable instead of r.row, which is an alias. Choosing between using an object as a return with map and using r.row versus using a callback like I'm doing here comes down to a number of things. The first is that if you're going to do additional work with this sale document, let's say you want to apply a filter or do some additional mapping, well then you're going to want to start off using a function as I am here because you'll need to have reference to that document. r.row, remember, just refers to the current document. And if you try and use it in any kind of subqueries, it's just not going to work because there's multiple documents and subqueries. r.row is well applied to the top level. Anyway, it's kind of like this. That's the easiest way to think of it. If you have something simple to do, you can just use r.row as I'm doing here. Otherwise, you might want to use a callback. Okay, in addition to the sale ID, let's also grab the customer ID just in case we need it later on. And that looks good. All right, well, we have a little bit more work to do here. The next thing I want to do is an inner join. And this is going to join one table to the next, or one sequence of data to the next. Here, I just am going to go and grab the fulfillments table, and I'm going to pass a callback in. And since I'm using inner join, that callback is going to expect two arguments. It's going to expect table 1 and table 2. And then I have to specify which IDs are joined. So here I'll just say the ID of the sale table is going to equal the sale ID of the fulfillment table. This is kind of a wordy way of joining things together. You have a table and then you inner join a query or another table if you want. And then it's going to be a function in the table left and then the query right. And you have to join those things together manually. And now I can use map to output the data in the way I want to see it. But before I go further, what I'm joining here is not actually two tables. I'm joining the mapped query above. So I'm going to rename this to avoid confusion to sales summary. I'm also going to drop a limit on here so I don't crash my server or crash my client with a ton of data coming back. All right, well, what I want to map out here is the status of the fulfillment. And for this, I can use r.row. In fact, I kind of have to, because what's given to me in this mapping function straight out of this join is actually a right document and a left document. So I have to say I want the right side status, which is our fulfillment table, and I want the left side email and the left side company. This might look a little bit strange, but this left-right kind of thing is what you have to deal with joins and also groupings. We'll see that more later on. All right, so if I run this, I get an error. Why am I getting this error? It's telling me that I don't have an ID in this object, and that is my mapped query that I've started out with above. And of course I don't have an ID. What I have instead is a sale ID. So that's happening right here on this join, and I need to make sure that I change this to be sale ID. in our join statement. Okay, well, let's run it again. And yeah, it's not the fastest thing. And this can be a little bit off-putting, but don't worry, we're going to deal with this in just a second. What's important is it looks like it works. 14 seconds for 3 rows of data. Ugh. Why do we have 3 rows? Because I put a limiter on the bottom here. What I think I should have done is put this after our first query to limit the big fat result set up there. The location of limit is really important, as you could probably imagine. So I want to limit the first to the first 3 sales, and that actually improves things a lot, 1.8 seconds. But I know that you're thinking, I don't want to have to use limit everywhere. What if I want to query over the entire result set? Well, as I mentioned, we will get to that soon, I promise. What we might want to do here is we might want to filter on a specific result set for a given company. Notice that I can just drop the filter statement in line right here and specify that I want to see all the sales for a given company, and here they are. However, that filter is taking a while. In fact, it took almost 17 seconds for 7 rows. All right, how are we going to fix this? Well, that's coming up next.